Hey everybody, Roxabox90 here with the first part of my complete Khans of Tarkir limited set review. So if you guys have been following my spoilers the last number of weeks, you know that I talk about all different formats in regard to the different cards. These videos are supposed to be designed to help you with your pre-release, prepping you for the good limited cards, the bad limited cards, showing you what I do when I go through the process of thinking through the cards. So of course my opinion may or may not change based on each of the pre-release I actually attend to, and you guys might notice certain things are better than not, but this is without seeing the set in action, my thoughts. And we'll start off with all the white cards in the Khans of Tarkir set. So all the Abzan cards that have Outlast is a pretty nice tacked on mechanic, but some of the cards that we've gotten newly spoiled are actually pretty good with it. And Abzan Battle Priest to start off, I like that it gives lifelink to all your creatures with Outlast, which in a game, if this format is as mid-rangey as it feels because it's 3-color focused, then the Outlast mechanic could be very effective in boosting your creatures, and giving lifelink to all your Abzan focused creatures is pretty nice. The fact that it also works for itself is also really good. And a 3/2, 3 is a defining factor, I think. From what I've seen at least, there's a lot of 3 toughness creatures, which works very well for this case as a 3/2. I like it. I think it's a solid card. Abzan Falconer as well. 3 for a 2/3 is not bad, and it has the upside of a 1-cost Outlast that also gives 1/1 creatures flying. Evasion to all your guys with Outlast seems pretty good to me. Enoch Bonkin gives first strike, also very strong. 2 for a 2/1 is fine, but and the Outlast is a little more expensive, but the first strike mechanic is kind of insane, which is probably why, because you do the Outlast once and it's a 3/2 first strike. Pretty good. Alabaster Kieran, Flying Vigilance, good put together. 4 for a 2/3. I don't love its 4 mana, but it's okay. Flyers are never bad. Brave the Sands, I don't like it. Having the Vigilance is fine. It feels Abzan, but it doesn't work so well, I think, in limited. Dazzling Ramparts, I kind of wish it was 4 mana because it's a 0/7 wall, which is huge. It's going to be very hard to get through that, but it's most important is that you can tap 2 to tap a creature. This is huge tempo, especially late game when your opponent has a huge creature out. This doesn't have to block it. If it has flying, it can still prevent it. I think it's a surprisingly strong wall, and I definitely consider running one of them in a deck that could afford those colors. I think it's a pretty solid card. Defiant Strike is a fairly weak combat trick. It's just 1/0. Even with the cantrip, I don't like it. And Hostilities is a big wrath for cheap. Those are always useful to have as backup. Erase, I don't like. Feat of Resistance is a decent combat trick because it gives a 1/1 counter and protection. Seems pretty good to me as combat tricks go for the set. Fired Cavalry, it's okay. It's a little expensive. I don't like that much. Herald of Anafenza, I think the Outlast can become pretty scary, both because it makes itself get counters, but also because it provides you an army. I think it'll be surprisingly powerful in the right kind of deck in limited. High Cental of Arashin, it's a new rare to me. It's really strong. 3/4 for 4 flying. That's already really good for limited. There's no drawbacks here. When it gets a 1/1 counter, it gets 1/1 for each other creature you control with a 1/1 counter. So it gets stronger the more Outlast you have, and you can put a 1/1 counter. Yes, it's 4 mana, but if you remove this ability, it's still a very powerful limited card. I think it's great. Jeskai Student, nah, you see what I mean about the 3 toughness? It's okay. It's not so good. Kill Shot, solid removal for limited, works well. Marduk Hateblade, normally I don't like 1/1s, but this one you can give Death Touch. So if you're running the colors, both colors, it could be a decent 1-drop for an aggressive style build. Marduk Horde Chief, it's okay. It's a 2/3 for 3, but it's really a 3/4 power toughness. It's okay. It's not particularly fantastic. Master of Pearls, I kind of wish, thinking back, even though I think he's underrated, I kind of wish the morph cost was 3 mana, 3 or maybe 4. But he's still not a bad card. He's just not as good as I thought he would be even for limited. Rush of Battle, it seems pretty strong, but it is sorcery speed, and it only really affects warriors, which I don't like as a limit, so not so good. Sage Eye Harrier, 1/5 flying, even with the flying, yeah, it's huge, it can block flying. That's kind of nice, because there's not much flying that can get by it, but it is quite expensive. Salt Rolled Patrol, I don't like it that much, even though it just seems a little expensive, even though it has a huge butt. Seeker of the Way seems okay. It's a bear with upside, which is not bad for limited. Siegecraft, I don't like. It's too much of a commitment for what I don't think is worth it. Smite the Monstrous, pretty strong removal, especially again if this overall limited format is a little bit slower. I think that can be pretty good. Suspension Field, again, targeting the toughness 3. I think this card will be fantastic, as most people expect it to be. Take Up Arms is too much mana for the 3/1/1s. I don't think it's worth it. Timely Horde Mate is okay. I like that it gives you tempo for Outlast, because if your 1 or 2 drops get killed, it helps the aggro without much of a downside to it. So I think it can be pretty good if you have that stylized build. Otherwise, it's not that great. Venerable Lamatsu, 5/4 flying for 7 is just too much. Even though it's a big body, it's just too much mana. Warbaima, the same problem, huge amount of mana. The morph doesn't make it worth playing. Watcher of the Roost is okay. I don't like it as much as some of the other ones. It's an okay card. And Windmake Rock is huge, crazy powerful card, and I'm sure will be, if you get one in your limited pool, definitely sealed pool, definitely consider running it. It's a very strong limited card. So those are all the white cards from Khans of Tarkir with my overall thoughts so far on them. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section, and stay tuned for more of these videos coming to you really soon. If you enjoyed the video, tap the like button. If you're new to the channel, check in and subscribe. As always, Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.